Welcome back to the 903 podcast. This week, I sat down with Kiara Smothers, owner and operator of Trap Yoga and Wellness. I talked with her about growing up in a blended family, her journey to self-discovery when she left home for college, and enjoying paving her own way to a life of many firsts. Here's what's happening in the 903. Welcome back to the 903 podcast. I'm Andrew Darrington, your host. Today, we're here in Tyler, Texas at the Young Professional Building. Thank you so much to our sponsors. We really appreciate you guys supporting us. Without you, we couldn't do the travel we do. We couldn't afford the equipment. I couldn't afford Waylon back there. Really appreciate you guys' support, and appreciate you guys seeing the vision of us trying to glorify and showcase these entrepreneurs and nonprofits. Without further ado, we have Kiara Smothers today.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah, and one of our sponsors is Texas State of Mind Coffee. Mm-hmm. This is the black and gold, which is robust, and it's air roasted and made here in Tyler. Okay. And they're a sponsor of ours, and that's for you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'll take coffee anytime.
Yes.
And organic.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, Kiara, you are the founder and CEO of Trap Fitness, or of Trap Yoga and Wellness.
Yes.
Yes. So, are you from East Texas?
Born and raised from Longview, Texas.
Longview, Texas.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about growing up and what kind of led you down this path of like health and wellness, mental clarity, all that good stuff.
You know, what's so funny about that is that wasn't really my background for so long. But so growing up, I grew up in a two-parent household with my big brother and my little brother. I had multitudes of other siblings too, with my daddy. I ended up going to Pine Tree. Mm-hmm. Well, we went to Gilmer first because my daddy worked for Swepco AEP. He's retired now, but he works for Swepco AEP, and we started off in Gilmer. So he worked there when I was in pre-K, kinder, and first, and then by the time I went to second grade, that's when we moved to Longview. But I was already born in Longview. We just moved before I started pre-K, and we moved back to Longview. And I started school at Pine Tree. So I went to Pine Tree from second grade all the way to high school. Nice. Graduated in 2008.
That's amazing. So stayed in one school.
I stayed in one school. We stayed in the same house.
That's amazing. Yes, that's a good thing.
My parents were in that house for 27 years.
Wow. And
they just sold it a few years ago and decided to build a home on some land. Okay. And go from there. That's great. But yeah. Was brought up in the same house, had the same room. Of course, It always looked different. One minute I had cloud covers. The next I had crystal blue type covers. I had a love for angels. So it was like different angel items in the room. And I had a frame on my wall that had a guardian angel overprotecting a little boy and a little girl. So I always envisioned that being me and my little brother. Yeah. Since we were the closest ones in age. Big bro was 8 years older than me, he is 8 years older than me. So my mom end up having him as a teenager, and then me 8 years later. But, you know, I feel like for the most part I grew up in what seems like a very well-rounded household. Sure. It was a lot of things that, you know, my parents did break. They broke the generational curse of the daddy going for the milk. You know what I'm saying? At least I was raised in a household where I had active parents for the most part. But a lot changed as I got older. And I mean, I'm still a child, but by the time I was 9, I remember I was in third grade, and there was a slip sheet that we needed to get signed to go on a field trip. And so all I remember is seeing my mom. She wrote her name and then did a signature, because, you know, third grade, that's when we knew how to write in cursive. Yeah. So I knew how cursive looked, and I noticed when I looked at her name, I was like, wait a minute, my mom's last name is different than mine. I was like, I'm in third grade. Remember, I'm 9 years old. So I went up to my teacher and I was like, my mommy's last name is different than mine. And she was like, oh, it is. Well, maybe you should go home and ask. And I sure did. Mm-hmm. I got off the bus that day. I remember my bus driver, her name was Miss Brenda. I remember Miss Brenda. I had her for third and fourth grade. And then I went home. My mom's in the kitchen washing dishes. My daddy's standing there right beside her. I didn't say hello or nothing. I just said, why is my last name different than yours? Mm-hmm. And she looked at me. She looked at my daddy. And she took off and ran to the room. And I was like, did I say something wrong? Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, just hold on. And so I'm just standing in the kitchen by myself. I don't even remember where my big brother was at the time or a little bit. No. Big brother probably was either still at the high school or at work. I don't know, tell him where he was. And I'm just standing there. I'm like, okay. So I walked down the hall and they're in the room with the door shut and I can hear my mom crying. I was like, did I say something wrong? And she's like, no. And it's like, here, we'll talk to you about it later. I said, talk to me about what? Mm-hmm. So it finally took them about 2 days. That was a long 2 days because they weren't very much really saying much to me. Just asking, well, you hungry? What you want to eat? Mm-hmm. Oh, you good? Okay, it was awkward. And I'm 9. I'm a kid. So I'm like, did I do something wrong? So finally they sat me down on the couch and they did let me know that there's a reason why my last name is different. And I said, am I adopted? Yeah. And Mama said, no, you're not adopted. You're my baby. And I said, well, then why is my last name different? And so and they're like, well, you know how Mark has a different dad? I was like, wait, is Mark dad my dad? And they're like, no. And I was like, well, you're not my daddy. And Mark's daddy's not my daddy. But you said I'm not adopted, so what does that mean? I said, wait, I have a different dad? And she goes, yes, you do. I go, oh. I said, and I kid you not, that's when, of course, I'm a kid. I'm starting to notice and understand skin complexion and color, my hair. Everything was different about me. I kid you not, I was a lot lighter than this. And so, is my daddy white? She goes, no. Yeah. No, he's not. And I was like, then why am I so light? And so she's like, no, he's mixed, but he's not white. I was like, so he's mixed or white? No, he's not. I said, I'm confused. Come to find out, my biological father has a black father and a Mexican mother. I was like, I'm Mexican too? Oh, okay. That's why I'm light. My mom was like, but you're still black. I was like, I know that, but at least I know why. I was curious. So who is he? Where can I meet him? Yeah. I want to meet him. I want to see him. And she's like, well, I have to make a few phone calls first. Yeah. I said, to who? She said, well, you remember Miss Lorraine. And I know my aunt wouldn't mind me saying that. Hey, Lorraine. Hey, Shorty. I love you. Mm-hmm. So my mom had a best friend growing up, and her name was Miss Lorraine. I've known Miss Lorraine since I was a baby. She's been around my whole life. Mm-hmm. And I always got gifts from her dad. You see where I'm going with this? Mm-hmm. Lorraine's my auntie. Yeah. Her dad's my pawpaw. Right. And I'm like, oh. And so ironically, the next few days, she actually comes over. And I was like, you're my auntie? She's like, yes. And so it just made more sense. You got a new aunt. I had my aunt the whole time. I just never knew she was my aunt. She was Miss Lorraine. Right. And all of her daughters were my friends. They were my friends. I didn't know they were my cousins. Right. Her daddy that was always sending me Christmas gifts and birthday gifts. I thought he was just being nice. No, that was my pawpaw. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, he passed in 2017. But then she finally, she told me a little bit more about their family. Mm-hmm. She let me know that I will meet him eventually. Come to find out, he actually didn't live far from me at all. No. He actually lived maybe no more than 15 minutes. Okay. He was. But he knew about you. Oh yeah, he knew all about me. And he was okay with your mom. I want to say for the most part, he had no choice at this point because I was every single day. Can I meet him? Can I meet him? Yeah. Can I meet him? But I mean, prior to that, you did. I mean, you were growing up under their house. Oh yeah. And he was 15 minutes away, not getting to see you. 15 minutes away, choosing not to see me. Yeah, we'll get to that too. Until you. I'm trying to understand. So you're gonna tell a story. He went for the milk 15 minutes down the road and stayed there. Oh, gotcha. Pretty much. But when I ended up finally meeting him, my mom was working, and so I went to work with my mom, and so he came up there and met me. Okay, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I kid you not, I was like, yep. He definitely is my dad. I look just like this man.
Yeah. That was an awkward situation.
It wasn't, though. I was always one of those kids where no matter who you were, I was always very friendly, if that makes sense. And so that's one thing my mama always said, is you always were very friendly. But I also was always sick. I unfortunately grew up having asthma.
Yeah.
But I had the asthma where I wouldn't have like an asthma attack right then and there. I would just have seasonal allergies with it. So once I was sick, game over.
Yeah.
They had to put me on antibiotics.
Sure.
They had to keep me home from school. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
And so, unfortunately, even through all my sickness and stuff, I was always nice and friendly, and I loved everybody.
Then, so after high school, you got in. You're going around. Now you have like 2 daddies.
Yep.
Right. You're growing up. You're in your house. You finish high school. You get an education, right?
Yep. I kept going.
You get an education. You go to school for education?
Yes, I went to school. I got a bachelor's of science in child and family development, but at Stephen F. Austin, Axum. It actually fell under the education branch.
I gotcha.
And human services as well.
Okay.
So it's a human service educational major, if that makes sense. So I could have went nonprofit with it, child care, somewhere in education with it in general. It was multiple different ways I could have took it. But yeah. There was multiple things I wanted to do, but some things didn't fall into place, and obviously it's just those paths weren't for me, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But
what do you end up doing?
I ended up starting off in a child care center. It's in Nacogdoches. It's connected to Stephen F. Austin. It was called the Early Childhood Research Center, or the Early Childhood Lab, and I started off as one of the assistants working there. To help with the lower levels. So I worked with infants, I worked with 1-year-olds, 2, 3, 4, and
obviously the parents too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, always. The parents knew, because we had the same schedule, so per semester our schedule would change, but they knew who I was.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it was very different, because when I was while I was down there working, I pretty much knew all the kids. Like even today, there's at least 2, 3 parents I still keep in touch with on Facebook. So I get to see the little bitty ones that I knew since they were babies, like getting ready to graduate high school, and I'm like, wow, this is weird. But no, but back when, like I said, I was 9, I finally met my biological father. He takes me, I kid you not, I had like a little suitcase. I had a Barbie suitcase full of Barbies that I played with and their little clothes. I wanted to show him off like my world, if that made sense. And so he took me to meet my grandmother. So I got to meet my little 5'0" girl. She is so short. I finally got a chance to meet her. I got to meet another aunt. There was another aunt he took me to go visit, and it was funny because I remember her saying, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "I never met you." She said, "You have, but it's okay," and gave me the biggest hug. Come to find out, I had 2 cousins that I didn't know about. But then I remember looking at one of the pictures, and I was like, "Why does she look familiar?" And then I told my mama when I finally got home, I said, "Mama, there was a picture of a little girl that's my cousin. She looks familiar." And she said, "Which one?" And I told her who. She opens up the album. Boom. There is a picture of me and said cousin. And I'm like, wait, how? So then the reason me and her had pictures together when we were little is because my aunt, that was Miss Lorraine, she used to have a beauty shop. And so when I was there, some of the cousins were there, and she was one of the cousins I would play with. And I just never knew she was my cousin. Yeah. Gotcha. So I don't know if they trained her to know me as a friend, but I was trained to know her as a friend. Right. Because that was at the time I didn't know about my biological father.
So where does the education and fitness and mental health, where does that come from?
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
Okay.
It is because this story continues to change, which is so crazy. Because right now it sounds like angels holding ribbons and little birds making bow ties right now.
Yeah,
right?
It's like.
Because it's like, wow, you met a new whole family.
Yeah, there's a lot of yes.
Right. A lot of yeses, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, no.
No, yeah. After a while, I would, ask my mama if I could call him, and I would call him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't answer. And of course, at the time, he had a girlfriend. Yep. And I knew his girlfriend. I had her number too. I would call her number. hey, I'm trying to reach my dad. Do you know where he is? Oh, well, sweetie, he was a truck driver. He was, driving around or whatever. Okay, I'll try to call him again. No answer. Okay. I would literally go maybe 2-3 days without hearing from him. Oh, I was busy. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. Well, I was just calling to check in. Well, can I see you when you come home? Yeah, I should be home this weekend. I'll let you know. Did he let me know? No. Like, oh, okay. So it ended up being that. It ended up me like coming home, checking the phone, see if he called.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Me calling to see if I can get in touch with him. And every single time it was, oh, I've been busy. And then during some of that time frame, come to find out, he quit his job but didn't tell me. But he was still busy. Even then, him and the girlfriend at the time he was with, they ended up separating. I didn't know that either. So it was a lot of different stuff going on and happening that I wasn't aware of. And then finally he ended up contacting me and telling me, I'm so sorry, I had a lot going on. Me and so-and-so split up. I had to move out and move in with mom. And so I would go visit him at my grandmother's sometimes. And then even then, sometimes he would leave and go somewhere, and I'll just be there with my grandmother and one of my oldest cousins, and then he'll come back and be with me for a few more moments, and then pack me up, take me home. It was different. But once again, I'm a kid. All I'm thinking about is, yay, I get to spend time with him.
Yeah.
Now, of course, every single time he didn't answer the phone, I did believe him. I always thought, yeah, okay, he's busy.
Sure, you're a kid, yeah.
I'm a kid. So then finally, I'm 13, 14. Because that happened from 9 to all the way 13, 14 years old, and I finally get a cell phone. Us millennials, that's when we finally started able to get the razors and the phone, phone, all of that. Minutes free after 9. Text messages were very different too. So
111, 222.
Yes, I'd be like, I can't go over my text messages. I only have so many, or I'm going to be charged per text.
Right.
So all I know is I sometimes wouldn't talk to him until the weekends, unless it was on the house phone.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I will say that my father that raised me, he was not fond of him no longer calling the house phone too. And I learned later in life, I think it was because he thought he was trying to get back with my mom.
Yeah, probably.
And I was like, I don't think my mama won't no man that went for the milk and never came back.
Yeah.
Okay. I really don't know what the issue really was. Of course, it was, maybe it could have been, oh, I've raised her 9 years and now you want to pop up.
Sure.
It could have been that. And now that I look at it now, I think it really was that per se.
Sure.
But it is what it is. So sometimes he wouldn't even call the house phone.
Especially a daughter. Like when you see your dad, it's just different.
It is different.
Yeah.
It is different. And I felt like, of course, as a kid, that I had the best of both worlds. I had the father that raised me and that lives in the same house as me, and then I have someone else and I can escape to.
Right.
But that escape was only every now and then, you know. So then he finally ends up moving on with somebody else. She ends up becoming my stepmother. Or I'm gonna say stepmother. But we ended up seeing each other every now and then. Once again, he's not too far from me again. He's still in the same area, but this time I rarely saw him. He would be like, hey, I'm gonna come get you, and never would come get me. Or he'll tell me, well, I'm busy doing this weekend, so you won't be able to come over. And I'm like, why can't I come over? Why can't you come get me? I'm confused. Unfortunately, come to find out, my stepmother thought he was trying to have a relationship with my mom, and I'm like, that doesn't mean you can't be a dad.
Yeah.
So it was.
Adults being selfish.
Adults being selfish, but at the same time, it was also on him.
Yeah.
Because even at the time,
he could have pushed through and just said.
He could have pushed through and said, no, I'm gonna go get my child.
Yeah.
Or he could have said, you know what, bye, I'm finna leave.
Right.
But then come to find out also, I learned that he was with different women that basically took care of him.
Yeah.
He would keep a job just as long as he wanted and then quit.
Yeah.
And not work. And just be taken care of. And I thought that was weird, but there were women literally not okay with that because
they were insecure.
That, and also because, well, he's a good looking man.
Yeah.
He fine.
Yeah.
And so they were like, I want to keep this man. He loves me.
Yeah,
I love you because you take care of him. But after a while, I started realizing, I'm a teenager now, and I'm starting to realize you're not really reciprocating with me the way I had hoped you would, what's going on. Even whenever him and my stepmom got married, I went and got fit for my dress and everything that I was supposed to wear in the wedding. And he was supposed to pay for it and never did. And then come to find out, they had a whole wedding. I wasn't invited.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh. And of course, it was a hot mess. It really was. And trust me, there were a lot of people like, well, where's Kiara? Why is she not here? And nobody would say anything. And I was like, I wasn't invited. That's why. But they ended up getting divorced years later. They did move, before they got divorced, they did move together somewhere in Dallas area. And I went there maybe just a few times just to spend time with him. But even then, it wasn't really time being spent. I was just there chilling, hanging out, watching TV and eating whatever I wanted. That was about it. But to do fun stuff and go places, ironically, shockingly, my stepmom actually did some stuff with me at that time. But after that, they ended up getting divorced. Once again, I barely heard from him. And then I finally just asked him, why do I never hear from you? And I was like 18, 19 at the time, because he never came to, when I played sports in junior high, when I was like, it was like, or even when I was little, when I didn't know him and I played sports, or even when I was in junior high and I was in choir, or when I was in high school on drill team, and I would invite him to everything that I had, he never came. And so when I was 18, 19, of course, high school graduation, he wasn't there. So I finally asked, I was like, why were you never like come to anything I asked you to do or whatever, why were you never there? He's like, well, it's your parents. They will let me know they don't want me around. And I'm like, when was this? When would they call you and tell you this? I'm confused. Why would they say that? I don't understand. And so then, of course, I'm hurt because now I'm thinking it's my parents' fault. And so I would go home and I'd be like, it's y'all's fault. He don't want to be in my life. And my mom would be like, excuse me?
Right.
She's like, no, that's him. And I was like, so you don't call him and tell him not to do that? You don't tell him that? You don't? No, I never did that. I'm like, so he's lying to me. Yes, he is. I'm like, how do y'all know you're not lying to me? Remember, I didn't know him till I was 9. So I'm still a kid though.
Yeah, sure.
I'm still trying to figure out, on top of that, what I wanted to do once I graduated high school, where I wanted to go. Every college I wanted to go to, I was told no. I was like, what am I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life at this point. So I did what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was extremely rebellious when I was 18, 19 years old. But rebellious to the point where I wasn't getting in trouble with the laws, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so I would go hang out with friends and not come home. I would do other things and my parents wouldn't know. I did drink a little here and there at 18 years old, you name it.
Yeah, sure.
And then finally, it took me until I was about 20, 21 when I was in college, and I remember my college boyfriend that I did have. He was the one that helped me realize, you do realize your dad was lying to you. And I'm just like, no, he wasn't. He never would do that. And he was like, no, he was lying to you. Like, it finally started helping me. It kind of clicked, and I'm like, you know what? And then finally, I'm calling my aunt on Shorty, which is Lorraine. You telling me this whole time this man was lying to me about my parents? Like, so they weren't calling him and telling him not to be around? She said, so unfortunately, and so that's the reason she went ahead and broke down everything that happened up to the point my mom got pregnant with me. My mama didn't tell me this story until I was in my 20s, until I finally asked her. And she told me, she's like, well, before your mom met your dad, she was with the dad that raised me. She was with him.
Oh, so it was kind of in between.
So she was with my daddy that raised me first. He was doing his immature stuff. She left him. My biological father and my mama already knew each other for years because my mom went to high school with my Aunt Lorraine. They went to high school together, but he didn't go to the same high school. He went to a different high school. Isn't this weird? Same mom, same dad, but they still went to separate high schools. And all I know is that, of course, they knew each other. They worked together. My mama finally ended up in a relationship with him. They were only together maybe 3-4 months. She realized he wasn't doing what he said he would do as far as taking care of the home, paying the bills, all of those things. So she said, you got to go. He left. She said, barely 2 weeks later, pregnant. And that was with me.
Yeah.
So then she ended up being reunited with my daddy that raised me.
Yep.
He decided to stick around. And so everybody thought she was pregnant by him.
Yeah.
And
so they just let it play out.
They just let it play out.
Yeah.
And so I was born. Of course, she told, my aunt told me.
But she couldn't manipulate the birth certificate.
No. What ended up happening is my aunt told me that whenever I was born, my father that raised me was working. He was actually out of town working.
Yeah.
Because I came a few days earlier. I was supposed to be an April Fool's baby. Mm-hmm. I said, no wonder I'm full of jokes.
Yeah.
But I ended up being born on March 26th. And so all I know is she said that she reached out to my biological father, let him know I was born. He came to the hospital. You know, at that time you could see the babies through the glass. Didn't even bother to ask to hold me or nothing. Said that he came up there at the time he was with somebody and saw me through the glass. And I don't know who directly he told. I don't know if it was my aunt he told or my mom or whomever. But he said, I know she's going to make Greg happy, which is my father that raised me. And so that's when I was like, so he chose right then and there not to raise me.
Right, and you forced the hand to reconnect.
I literally forced the reconnect. From my understanding, allegedly there were a few times where my mom did attempt to try to see me as a baby. I don't know how true that is. I never really got answers out of my mom. My mama just said he never was there. So, but my aunt told me, oh no, they tried a few times. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not a baby no more. I'm a grown woman now at this point.
Sure.
But no, he didn't sign my birth certificate.
Yeah.
But she gave me his last name.
Yeah.
And so, and I thought that was weird because I remember finally asking her, can you give me my birth certificate? And she gave it to me and I see her name's on there, father blank. And I'm like, that hit like bricks.
Yeah.
And so after that, I was like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if I should believe y'all. Because of course I went through different traumatic experiences with my own parents. And even though it was a 2-parent household, they still argued. They argued in front of us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just cutesy little arguments either. It was one word crossing each other, stuff being thrown, you know, like I saw it all.
Yeah.
I heard it all. I remember every single argument. I remember all the cheating that my daddy did. All of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't get a chance to really figure out what to do with myself at that time because I'm still figuring out who am I after dealing with all this stuff with my biological father. So I went off to college, started at Kilgore, and then I transferred to Stephen F. Austin. Because my mama, they didn't want me to go to SFA at all. And I was like, well, I'm going to go because I want to get out of the house.
Yeah.
She thought I wanted to leave because at the time, my closest cousin, which is on my mom's side, she thought I wanted to leave to go to college with her. And I was like, no, I want to go for myself.
Yeah.
And thankfully I did. On top of that, she didn't get to go to college. Neither of my dads went to college.
Sure.
Actually, my biological father was a high school dropout.
Okay.
Come to find out. And so my big brother, he went to college literally his senior year, and then the lady that he was dating at the time ended up pregnant with my nephew, so he dropped out of college. I'm like, you have 1 year left, bro. But still, even then, he's still doing amazing.
Got to be a provider.
Yeah, he wanted to. He said, "No, I had to take care of my son," and that's exactly what he did. His only child, he took care of him.
Yeah.
And so, of course, when it came to me, because I went to college. Had a boyfriend when I was in high school, thought that we were going to make it forever, and then I could leave off to go to SFA. We split up. I meet another guy, we're together for about a year. We didn't last, we split up. I reunited with my high school sweetheart, pregnant.
Okay.
Yes, with my daughter. And the irony is I literally went through what my mom went through with my biological father with him. Back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Mess.
Yeah.
You want to be daddy, not want to be daddy.
Right.
You want to be there, not want to be there. And so I ended up, when my baby girl was like 2 years old, I told him either you're in or you're out. He said, okay, hung up in my face.
Oh, wow.
I never heard from him since.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh no, it's actually amazing. I chose to take my daughter out of having to deal with the part-time parent situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then once I got older and realized that this is the reason I am the way I am,
Yeah.
like of course not right now, but those years early, I realized I was like, no, something needs to change. I need to do something different.
Yeah.
And so finally my daughter, when she was about 2-3 years old, ironically at the time when he dipped out, I had met my husband at that time.
Okay.
And so of course at that time I didn't know he was going to be my husband. Like I knew, but I didn't know. Like I was hoping he would. And so, and I noticed that's when her dad decided to dip out.
Yeah.
All I know is we ended up together. I ended up back in school. I'm getting my master's this time. And when I say he was the most supportive person ever, I was like, yeah, I'm marrying this guy.
Yeah.
Like he would ask me, hey, you getting your work done? Because I was getting my master's. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, well, call me when you're done. Okay, cool. I'll call him when I'm done. Or say if I'm in the middle of an assignment and I need to take a break. Okay, I'm giving you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Dang, you're putting a time on me to do my work. Okay, so that's how he was. Or sometimes whenever he finally got a chance to meet Kinsley, he'll come over and entertain her while I'm busy working. Or we'll go over to his place. Or at the time he was living with his mom still. We'll go over there and he'll entertain Kinsley for me while I'm on my Chromebook doing my work, you know.
Right.
So when I say like that man was like really supporting me and doing everything he could, you know. He was in the military at the time too, so it was always a back and forth thing.
Yeah.
I'll see him sometimes and then sometimes I wouldn't because he would be off for weekends.
Sure.
It was the on and off weekends thing we had
drill.
to do. Yeah, drill. So all I know is we did. He finally proposed to me 10 months after we dated. We got married 6 months after that. So this year, September, will be 10 years we've been married.
Hey, congrats.
And he's raised my daughter.
That's awesome.
We terminated her biological father's rights. He basically adopted her, did a name change and everything. So, and she knows all about him. She does.
Yeah,
but
good.
In the midst of all that, of course, those first few years of marriage was the toughest years of our lives. And that's when we realized we need to go to counseling because it wasn't just a me and him issue or a marriage issue. It was separate issues we both were dealing with that we needed to take care of. And one of mine was still my biological father.
Yeah, for sure.
So because
like that abandonment?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. When I finally went to counseling, my counselor looked at me the first day and she said, abandonment. Mm-hmm. I said, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
She said, you developed anxiety, right? And I said, yes. And she said, you got confused, because I did. I ended up developing anxiety, got it confused with my asthma.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, baby, that was anxiety. Mm-hmm. And that's from you being abandoned. She's like, did you ever feel like that when you were little? Like whenever he wouldn't pick up the phone, did you cry a lot and start breathing real heavy? And I said, yeah. She said, yeah, that's anxiety. You were abandoned.
Yeah, and so I adopted my son. Because it's kind of same situation.
Man, okay.
And I met him when he was 2.5.
Oh, see, it's so funny.
Yeah, and I met his mom when he was 2.5. I was actually there for the third birthday. Okay. And we'd already met, but like going to a birthday, a little different, having a boyfriend along. Yeah. And the dad had already signed the rights away. Oh, okay. Which was a game changer for me because I didn't want that part-time daddy, send him out, send him off, and then he comes back different.
It's different. Mm-hmm.
So that made it worthwhile. And then I waited till he was 12 because I wanted him to know like what he was doing. Okay. Because I wanted his decision, him and his mom's decision to let me adopt him. Yeah. And so interesting enough, like I adopt him, everything's fine. We go through a lot of those challenges because I'm telling her like, not only abandonment, but worthlessness. Yeah. Because now at that point, like he's probably a teenager, he knows that he signed his rights away over money because he owed back child support.
That sounds familiar.
So like, that was the core reason. And so as he gets older, social media, he starts posting on social media, the grandparents, so the biological dad's parents find him and they intentionally cross paths and they're placating niceties and stuff like that, which they were part of the reason why the termination existed because they didn't want to see him either. But now they're trying to come into he's a teenager now, like probably 15, 16. Yeah. And then the biological dad goes through women, and finally he finds one. Finally,
the story is so familiar.
Finally finds one, and they're getting married.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry. He gets married, has a couple more kids, and then one of his half brother is going to get married.
Did he raise those kids?
No, not the other half brother. The two oldest got signed off. The other kids didn't. So
it sounds familiar once again.
the oldest half brother's getting married, invites my son, and the biological dad's going to be there. And it's the first time he's seen him since everything. Like, he didn't really remember him because it's like 2.5 whenever they left. And so, we didn't trash him. Like, we were just like, hey, it wasn't a good time, and he did what he felt like he needed to do, and that type of thing.
But he blamed mom.
There were so there were a couple times where we would like, our son would be acting a certain way, whether it be just acting out or just being a real mischievous, or he was pushing back on things, and she would remind him, like, hey, these are things that are in your blood, and you need to make sure you understand you need to control those things, because there were some bipolar issues and some other stuff that the biological parent passed along. And so but he goes to he goes to this wedding, and his dad wants to talk to him one-on-one, for like 30 minutes and kind of try to explain the situation, and it left a really bad taste in his mouth.
Oh, I bet.
When he came back, and you could see a difference, like, and I was the disciplinarian, so like there was always some rub there, and now he's 25, and so now 25, he's been paying his own bills, and it's like a realization, hey, look, Dad took care of everything. He paid for the bill. We never had any worries with food, never had any worries with water bill, electricity bill, or any of that stuff. Maybe I should give him a little less hard time when we interact. And it's still, there's still some things, we probably should him and I should go to counseling personally. But nonetheless, I mean, he's successful now, which is good. Beautiful. That's all that matters. And he's getting married in October.
That's beautiful.
Which is awesome. Yeah.
That's so crazy. My big brother, him and his wife, they're having an actual wedding in October too.
Oh man, we got a lot to unpack. we got a lot to unpack. So we got to get to. And now a word from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Red Construction and Development LLC. If you are looking to build or remodel and need the highest quality, best reputation, and 3D rendering, look no further than Red Construction. Call Thomas and his team at 903-630-8660 today. This episode is sponsored by Hoot and Holler Beverage. When I think of Hoot and Holler, their selection and customer service first comes to mind. So skip the big box franchises and make the trip to Hoot and Holler in Gun Barrel City. Between barrel picks, mixers, seltzers, whatever you need for the weekend, they'll help you find it. Stop by today. Scott and team are ready. This episode is sponsored by the Humidor. If you are looking for cigars and want to enjoy a few hours in a great environment with a great staff, the Humidor should be your next stop. With their vast selection and new bar, you'll have a great time every time. This episode is sponsored by Vault Arms, the premier destination for all things firearm related. So if you're in the market for handguns, rifles, or supplies, stop by Vault Arms at 4740 South Broadway or their indoor range at 417 West Elm in Tyler. Now back to the 903 podcast. All right, so you are the founder, co-owner, or you're the founder and the owner and operator, CEO of Trap Fitness. Trap stands for Trauma, Release, and Peace. You created in February 2024. This was after you did some education. You're an educational system. So why? And then you get certified, and you're the first or one of the first?
I was, as of right now, I believe I am the first one from Longview.
A yoga instructor of color.
Of color, yes. Right. I was born and raised out of Longview.
Yes.
But now on record, as far as someone from East Texas, I did find out there is a woman here in Tyler.
Yeah.
And she's the first one on record. She just chose not to work with studios. She chose not to apply.
I gotcha. So you first work with, once you get certified and you choose to do this.
Yes.
You choose to go to apply at studios.
Into studios, yeah.
You find someone that's willing to
work with me, yes.
And assign you classes, or how does that work?
So how it worked is, when I ended up finally getting hired, I got hired at Freedom Yoga Inc. in Longview. It closed last year in May.
Okay.
Tony's the owner, and she's my mentor even to this day still. And so when she hired me, of course, she hired me in mind to train me to be trauma-informed, because the studio is a trauma-informed studio. And of course, she asked me, what is it that led you to do yoga? And I was like, well, when my husband and I finally went through all of our issues and everything, we decided to leave Longview. And leaving Longview meant moving to Tyler. At that time, he was also working in Tyler, so he was driving back and forth.
Yeah, like a fresh start.
Yes, and so we were like, let's move. You know, I've never been anywhere else but Longview and Nacogdoches, because Nacogdoches was when I went to SFA. And then when I was getting my master's, it was online at LeTourneau. So we did. We moved to Tyler. We had finished my master's. We moved June of 2018. So we've been here for almost 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years now. And no, it has been 8 years now.
June.
Man, it is June. I keep forgetting that. And so when we moved, of course, like I said, I finished with my master's in education. My goal is to work with multiple different school districts around here, try to get in where I could. And I think a lot of how to do is because I'm not from here, or because nobody knows me. And I'm like, oh, I'm just moving from Longview. And they're like, oh, okay, I didn't get a job anywhere. And so
is it a pretty competitive?
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I really, at that time, I think it is not so much now, because it's a retention with teachers now.
Okay.
But then at that time, I think it was just more so because nobody knew me.
Yeah.
Because I'm fresh fish out of a whole different pond.
Yeah.
You know. So I didn't get hired anywhere for the first, we moved here in June. I was back and forth still working with communities and schools that was connected with Longview District. I was working at Ware's campus. And so at that time I was able to get, summer pay by the time we moved. So then come August, I'm not working.
Yeah.
And I'm like, crap. So August, September, October, November, I'm sitting at home, and I think it's been about a month, and my daughter's in school. She's in kinder.
Yeah.
And I'll be at home by myself with our dog that we had at the time. And I remember calling my husband one day, and I was like, I am bored out of my mind. I literally just went through counseling with the counselor. I was still seeing her. We will go to Longview just to see her. So I'm still in the healing process of all the stuff I'm dealing with my biological father. So there will be times I'm at home crying and trying to figure out what to do with myself. And we were on a budget,
Yeah,
like
too
a very
much idle
strict
time.
budget.
Yeah.
Too much idle time on top of that, because my husband was the only one paying in bills.
Sure.
Even times where we had to reach out to parents and in-laws to help out, because I wasn't able to find a job.
Yeah.
He goes, start going to yoga. I don't know, go to a gym, put in a membership. And I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna try yoga. I tried it one time. I tried it once when I was at SFA. And I didn't know what the instructor was doing, but whatever it was, I don't remember. I just remember it was so hard.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, I was in collegiate dance team, okay? I was on a collegiate dance team called Jack Attack. It was a hip hop dance team. I walked in that class, I'm in there for 15 minutes, already breaking a sweat, and I said, I can't do this. I rolled up that mat and dipped.
Right.
I was like, so when he said try yoga, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did. I started Googling different studios, and I found one that was not too far from us. I started going to classes there, started learning about the company, started finding my favorite teachers. I had two particular favorite teachers. I will always go to their classes at least 2-3 times a month at least. And so then I remember I'm in one of the more tougher classes this time. I was like, let me go a little tougher. And all I remember is, of course, the teacher tell us, whatever you're got going on, leave it behind the door. Like, don't bring it in with you. This is just your moment to relax and be in the moment, go into those movements, whatever else she said. I couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. I remember being in Warrior 2, going into Warrior 3, and I could feel nothing but anger, just like right in my face. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what in the world? Why am I feeling this? Of course, like I said, I'm still going through the process.
Yeah.
of everything I dealt with my biological father, because I chose to stop talking to him.
Yeah, right.
And so, and all I know is I finally figured out I'm a believer, right? So I was like, okay, Holy Spirit, I need you to tell me what this is. What am I feeling? And he says, your father. That's anger. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. So I'm having to try to blend my tears with my sweat. So it ended up becoming a monthly practice for me to continue doing yoga, because I started realizing I was able to tackle all that I was dealing with more using yoga than sitting on someone's couch and telling them what's going on with me and why it's going on.
Yeah.
Now, I will say going to counseling, because that was my first time ever trying counseling. It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And that counselor at that time, she really nailed me and helped me figure out what was really going on and what I could do to just keep growing and go from there. I even told her I started going to yoga, and she asked me how was that going, and I told her, and she was like, oh, so in other words, your body is telling you that you were still angry. I said, yeah. Mm-hmm. And now she was like, well, how do you feel after? I'm like, after I feel relieved. Yeah. I feel like I let it go more and more. So every time I would go, I felt it. I was letting go more and more. Yeah. More and more. Every single time. So it took me about a year of going to yoga month to month, doing meditation month to month, for me to finally no longer feel any anger towards that man.
That's crazy.
And so, of course, if I ever got teary-eyed or anything in general after that, it's because I realized, I was like, man, I went through that and lived through it. There are people I know to this day who are still holding grudges against their biological parents or whomever it was that walked out of their life. Versus for me, I was able to figure out my way. And so what did I do? That's when I decided, okay, at that time I was also teaching middle school math. So I started teaching in 2019, and I remember telling my husband, I was like, I'm gonna get certified. He's like, okay, cool. So 2020, my goal was to get certified. Yeah. But then COVID
happened, yeah.
And then also backtrack back in 2019, I also miscarried. I lost a baby. I also had some falling out with some my biological father's side of the family. Over some issues that had absolutely nothing to do with me. It was just some issues that they pulled me in. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a whole different topic. But all I know is, but my aunt that's been there my whole life, she was the only one sticking up for me. Yeah. Besides my cousins.
Maybe they saw some success.
I would hope, yeah. I think that's really what it was. Mm-hmm. But finally, 2020 hits, COVID. Mm-hmm. A week after everything shut down, pregnant. With my rainbow. And I'm like, oh, great. So, of course, I'm scared because I have asthma. I already lost a baby 6 to 8 months prior. And then I'm still like, but I wanted to get certified, So I look on the website for, the yoga studio I've been attending to get my certification, and they decide to shut it down. And I'm like, well, dang, never mind. I'm going to have to wait. Mm-hmm. So COVID happens. Everything happens all that year. I'm still teaching, by the way, but I'm teaching online up until May. Then the summer comes. I'm spending time with my daughter. Whenever August came back around, of course, I'm big and pregnant. Yeah. And my OB said, you're not going back in person. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because I need to teach. She was like, your at-risk criteria is too high. Mm-hmm. She said, because once you go back, it's a chance that you can get it, and we don't know how it's going to affect the baby. Yeah, sure. So I was like, well, what do I need to do? She's like, you need to request to teach online. And so thankfully, they ended up making that an option. I had to get her to write it off for me, and I kid you not, when I sent a message saying, hey, I need a letter in writing saying that I need to be permitted to work online, she sent that baby within 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, good. And so they permitted it. I had an aide in the classroom, and then I did every single day, I did Google Meets. I was teaching the students. Yeah. And then I kid you not, like maybe 2 weeks before my baby boy, his name is Roman, before he was born, I was on bed rest. So then I started teaching from the couch. Oh boy. Dressing myself up, doing everything, but I'm teaching from the couch. And I remember it was a lady that subbed the day before I had to go to the hospital, and she told me, she said, you're going to have him tomorrow. I said, don't jinx it.
Tomorrow.
I had him tomorrow. So I had my baby on November 4th, 2020.
Oh, wow.
Election day on top of that.
Yeah, oh.
Yes, I just remember laying in that bed, and my husband's clicking through the channels. I'm like, I said, turn this off.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this mess.
Yeah.
But because it was already a stressful year.
Sure.
I'm not allowed to go nowhere. My husband bound me to home.
Yeah.
But when I say like how I was treated pregnant with my son compared when I was with my daughter, I was floating on cloud 9. My husband didn't even let me cook.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to go to the grocery store. He was like, "No, I need you to go home and rest."
Yeah.
But it wasn't like one of those like, "You need to do what I say." No, it was more like, "Baby, I got you. What you need? You need water? Okay, I'll go get your water.
Right.
You want ice? What you want? What else you want? You want a snack?" That's how he was. And so, of course, when that baby boy came, I was able to have my husband home.
Right.
With me.
Sure.
And which, that was a beautiful experience. January comes back around. I'm back on campus. We were able to find an in-home daycare for my son. He stayed with this beautiful woman until he was 4 years old, until he started pre-K.
Awesome.
And so, no. He stayed with her till she was 3. Because then at that time, my husband ended up being self-employed on his own, and he created his business, which is as a mobile mechanic called 5 Star Mobile Loop. So unfortunately, income changed. And so at that time, I ended up working at home. So my son was at home with me for a whole year before he went to pre-K.
Awesome.
Yes. But then finally, that's when it all happened. I'm working from home. This is in 2022. And I'm working as a success coach online for a virtual school. It's TEA accredited. The students still had to take STAR, but they still graduated. They still could go to a 4-year college, 2-year college. They still could get dual credit, you name it. I still work for them. So I'm going on year 5 now.
Okay, cool.
And with them. And so I love it. It's an amazing school. It really is, because they are willing to work with families. Yeah. Do the best they can. And so all I know is my first year, I was like, okay, I'm sitting there not doing nothing, and I'm scrolling on Facebook, not doing anything, and I see an ad pop up. And it's from a virtual institution that teaches yoga. It's called Yoga Mute Institute. And I was like, what is this? So I click on it, and it leads me to a whole nother link, and it says, ever thought about being certified as a yoga instructor? I'm like, I haven't really said that thought out loud. And so I was like, okay. And I'm looking more on the website. They have all sorts of different certifications. And I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. Next thing you know, I'm on TikTok. I'm scrolling, and all I see is yoga videos.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is coming
got you.
back up. The algorithm got me. I don't remember saying out loud, I will still want to get my certification. I hadn't thought about it, really. And so all I remember is, and of course, it's one of those moments where you're like, what? I remember I'm sitting at my desk, and I scroll, and I see the ad again, like maybe 2-3 weeks later. And I'm like, okay. So I get my music going on my computer. I put my mouse and my keyboard to the side, and I had one of those L-shaped desks, and I turned. I was like, okay, Heavenly Father, let's talk. I know right now I'm working as an educator. I'm doing this and doing that, but I think I want to go back to the thought of being a yoga instructor. And if it is meant for me to go ahead and get a certification to be a yoga instructor, show me a sign. Anything. Waymaker starts playing on my Chromebook. I didn't touch it. I had it up and open, but I paused it before it started. Like, you know how you can go on YouTube and you click it and it pauses, right? Everything's to the side once again. And so my computer's over here. I'm looking this way, and I just looked. I looked at my mouse. I looked at my keyboard. I was like, yep, that's it. I went ahead and opened up that link, and I went ahead and signed myself up first to get the meditation certification. I finished that within a month. And then I signed myself up for the yoga certification. Because it was in my budget. It was affordable versus getting a certification with other people will take forever and cost a lot more. And I was like, this is the one that God told me, though. This is when the Holy Spirit told me to pick. I'm going to pick it. So I ended up going with a company that is owned and operated out of India, as in like the country. But they have a branch that is in San Diego, California. But all of my classes were online.
That's awesome.
So I did a virtual yoga certification is what I did. And then I finally, what I ended up having to do was I had to send in a video of me doing a 30-minute yoga session. I did that, sent it in, and was approved and got my certification within a week, which was in January 2023.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Did you stop teaching?
No.
Oh.
I continue to still, like, I'm still working as a success coach.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm still with them. But I did start realizing, I'm like, wait, I'm finally certified. What do I do with this? And so I reach out to the studio that I've been going to, and I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm certified. And they're like, oh, okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's it. Okay. Cool. So then I started sending emails to other places around. I even found Living Well. I sent an email to them. Lucy at the time was the yoga therapist there, and she reached out to me. She said, how about we meet for coffee? Let's talk. I was like, okay, cool. So I met up with her.
Place is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she's like, so what made you decide to get certified in yoga? Of course, I told her my whole life story within like 15, 20-minute gap. Told her how I got certified. She actually never heard of the company and didn't realize that they had certifications you can get through them. And so she's like, unfortunately, we're not hiring right now. She said, but I just really wanted to meet you. Mm-hmm. I said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. She's like, I really hope you go very far with this. I said, I do too. Thank you. But the main reason is because she hasn't had a chance to meet a Black yoga instructor in East Texas yet.
Yeah. And she knew people too.
She's been doing yoga for years. She's a yoga therapist. It takes about 2 to 3 years to get certified as a yoga therapist. It's like going back to school.
Yeah.
And so she let me know that she'll be really thinking about me and let me know if there's anywhere else that's hiring. We kept in touch. Of course, once again, I'm applying and sending emails to other studios. Nothing. Mm-hmm. So I'm on Facebook one day, and this is like May of 23, and I'm in a mom group. And I say, y'all, I need help. Please help me find a yoga studio that is hiring, because I got certified back in January, but I haven't had any luck. And so finally, one yoga instructor that I'm still really good friends with, she said, hey, have you tried Freedom Yoga in Longview? And I'm like, no. She said, it's trauma-informed studio. And I was like, really? I'm intrigued. Mm-hmm. So she hooks me up. I get to chat with Tony. I finally get a chance to go up there. I meet Tony. I'm in one of her classes. And she was like, okay, we got to do a demo. She's like, I want to see what I'm expecting with you. I'm like, okay. So I did a demo with her. Like, she literally was like a student.
Yeah.
Not the owner. She was a student. And I was just guiding her through the session. And so at the end, she goes, you're hired. I'm like, really? She's like, yes. And I'm like, okay.
That's great.
So I did. I got hired within like a week. I had to, of course, shadow some other instructors, had to lead a few more classes. Of course, she would let them know, by the way, this is Kiara's first time. Y'all be very patient with her, because some of the students will be there for years.
Yeah, sure.
Some were new, but she will let them know that she's there to watch me and continue to critique me.
Sure, like a teacher's aide.
Yeah, like a teacher's aide. And so, and she was like, okay, don't be mad at me. She's like, but I'm going to be hard on you. And I'm like, but that's what I want. I want you to critique me in every way possible. She's like, the reason that is because eventually I think you would do very well to own your own. And I was like, own my own what? She said, own your own yoga practice. I said, I beg your pardon? She said, why not? I said, well, why would I do that? She said, okay, first of all, you told me your story. Mm-hmm. She said, you are already aware of what trauma-informed look like. She said, you came in here without a trauma-informed certification, but you were already giving me trauma-informed cues. Mm-hmm. She's like, you could do a lot for your community with the certification. Also by yourself. She said, no, I'm not saying you have to leave me. She said, I will walk you through every single step. I will guide you. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, she has.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just decided to work with her, all that. Yeah, I worked with her all the way until she closed, till last year. And mainly during the summer, anytime, but then during school year, because I was working as a success coach, I'm only going weekends. Or if I just happen to be off of school for a week, for Thanksgiving break or stuff, I would go down there for those few days. And so, and she would critique me. She would let me know, hey, there was one student that was concerned about this particular movement that you did. You know, she would let me know.
Sure.
Verbatim if there was an issue, or if she needed to watch me, or if I needed to take a break. Like, she'd be like, let's do this part again, like go, all of that. And then finally, that's when I was like, okay, I'm ready to figure out what I need to do to build my business. And so I started creating Trap Yoga. I started creating Trap Yoga in about October, November of 2023. Mm-hmm. And at first I didn't have a name. I was like, I want to name it to where it's obvious that when you're in a yoga pose, you're releasing something. And I felt the word trap drop right on me. And I'm like, let me Google this. So I Googled trap yoga, but of course, in other places like Chicago or Atlanta, Georgia, you got Houston, where the culture is predominantly black. Trap yoga is already a thing, but it was hip hop behind it. I didn't want to do so much of hip hop. I didn't want that to be a cliche thing just because I'm a black girl, you know? I wanted to do something that was going to help my people in East Texas and people in general feel inclusive.
Yeah.
So I started looking up some things on TikTok. I started finding more trauma-informed sessions on there. I started finding more people of color teaching yoga and how they do it. And finding some that didn't specifically do it based on cultural reasons, but because of cultural oppressive awareness reasons. And I'm like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Because once again, I'm one of the rare ones that haven't seen other black people do yoga in East Texas. So I started asking questions. I started reaching out to people. Hey, if I told you I'm certified, would you actually work with me? And they're like, oh, we can do yoga? I said, oh. I had some be like, oh, we're invited into studios? Oh, we're still here in 2023?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So I did. I came up with the color scheme. My favorite color is purple and also green. I wanted to have calm, collective colors that had brightness but calmness and all form a meaning to it. And then I didn't want trap to just be the word. And so I wanted it to be all about trauma. And so yes, that's when it hit me. Trauma, release, and peace, because that's what I felt when I did it. I was doing yoga in the midst of me feeling trauma. I released it at the time, even when I was told to leave my emotions outside the door. I released them then. And even after that, I was at peace. So I was like, yeah, this is an acronym.
Right.
Not a word. We're not trapping anything, we're releasing what's trapped. And that is where I ran with it. So in February 2024, and purposely for Black History Month, I announced myself as the first Black-owned yoga business in East Texas.
Cool.
And then I found out about about the other woman that's here in Tyler. I was like, oh, you're the first. What do you do? And I started asking her. So she's telling me what type of work she does. It's more comedic and somatic. A little bit, it's trauma informed, yes, but it's still different. It's hers is more under cultural practice that embeds deeper into how other people of color do yoga. Versus for me, I wanted to meet any and every person where they are with an inclusiveness to the Black community.
Right.
Because then what I did start learning is people were like, oh, well, I'm too big for yoga. Oh, I'm a man, I can't do yoga. Oh, I'm too old for yoga. And I'm like, nah, I see where we're going with this. No, this is an inclusive practice for any and every person that would love to release their bodies from trauma. I started learning about the book called The Body Keeps the Score, where different traumatic experiences, no matter how big, how little you or situation you went through, it's trapped in your body somewhere. And so I started learning stress is trapped in your shoulders. Trauma is trapped in women's hips, womb area, especially sexual trauma. It's trapped there. So different yoga poses, and one of the reasons, let's be honest, why people say it's demonic, not realizing that it's not, is because whenever you hit a certain pose and you do have traumatic experiences that are trapped where that pose is supporting you, it's going to release itself. And trauma is demonic, if we're going to be honest. Those are experiences that should have never happened, but it wasn't your fault that it happened, if it makes sense. That is my intake on it.
Yeah.
And so what I did is learn that with the studio I was at, it wasn't a force of nature to say, hey, since you're in this pose, you have to feel it. No, it was if your body is comfortable
Or ready.
Yeah. Meet me here in downward dog.
Right.
If you feel the strength to go into warrior one, but if you prefer another pose, you're more than welcome to go there.
Yeah.
We will give them modifications. There were times where I would be teaching a class, I would see some students, they will go ahead and just lay down. They'll go ahead and go down in Savasana, which is the ending session where they lay on their mat. Savasana, even in a trauma-informed session, is not just them laying there with just the music. No, it's us keeping them safe, us making sure they are aware that we are still there and protecting them.
Yeah.
It's a safe space environment.
Yeah, the fact that they show up is part of it. I mean,
part of it, yes.
Showing up means a lot.
Yes.
All right, let's get to some of your services. So individual and group services, right? So like an individual service to me would be pretty intimate.
Yeah.
Where we're working on my mental clarity, and with a group session, that would be more like fun.
Yeah.
Where there's 8 or 10 of us, we're challenging each other maybe a little bit, or we may be encouraging each other a little bit, where, hey, it's like, hey, you see somebody crying, if I notice you crying, I may say it's okay or whatever as a group. Or you have the fun things like the mapuka that you do that you're probably not seeing in any other yoga studios.
Not in East Texas, no. I am the first one to do that, right. Yes. We're twerking while doing yoga.
Yeah, twerking while doing yoga.
Yes.
You travel outside of East Texas. How far is that? Like your comfort zone?
Right now, the furthest I've gone is to Dallas, Terrell area. I will be going in October. I already have a booking for Victoria, Texas, so going a little bit further.
Yeah, I know exactly where Victoria is.
I've had somebody reach out from Louisiana.
Okay.
Like, we haven't booked like an actual
I can see some mapuka over there.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
With the bounce music, of course.
Yeah.
But my biggest goal now is to take it so much further, because since I'm certified, I'm able to go all over the nation.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm even allowed to teach outside of the U.S. if I wanted to.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes. So, I mean, that certification, it gave me room to do so much. And so that's the biggest goal of all, is to take it wherever. The biggest goal, and I keep saying goal, the biggest goal of it is to help others have fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Feel like I am giving them an opportunity to have a safe space, but still have fun while healing in that same safe space.
Yes.
So even though now I introduced us doing mapuka and twerking and all of those natures, it's still healing.
Yeah, it's making you feel good.
Yes, it makes you feel good.
When you may wake up and not feel good, or you may interact with a boss or somebody within your family that doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
But then you come into an area that's safe. You show up. It's fun. It's hard. So pushing the body to do things that your mind might not think you're capable of doing.
Yep.
It feels good.
Yeah.
And when you're done, you did it with everyone else, so there's a camaraderie there. Or if I just did it one-on-one, with somebody that's coaching and training me and telling me I'm doing good, or hey, you can do better, and you end up doing better. It all stimulates positive thoughts and clarifies things.
Yeah.
Let's read off a couple things that you do. Trauma-informed yoga. We already talked about it a little bit. Meditation. I think that's harder than people think.
It is
clearing the mind is really hard if you have different jobs.
Yep.
Or if you have different family lives.
Yep.
You have a couple kids.
Yep.
Running around and stuff like that.
I can give you a little bit of information behind that too. So how in order for some people to really just manage life, they're on medication.
Yes.
For their anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolarism, whatever it may be. To add in, back in 2017, I was on Lexapro for anxiety. And because it was that bad.
Yeah.
But I was only on it for about 2-3 months because I had an allergic reaction to it that put me in the ER. Yeah, my blood pressure went from here to...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like 60/82. It was bad.
Yes.
And thankfully, they told my husband, good thing you brought her in, because if you would have waited just a little bit longer, no telling what would have happened next. But I just remember I was sitting there because the medication was giving me such bad headaches, which that was part of one of the side effects.
Yeah, it is.
But it was one of those side effects where my whole head felt like it's about to explode.
Right.
And every time I walked, I felt like I was drunk.
Yeah.
Because I would walk and it felt like the room was turning as I was walking. And so I remember I'm sitting on the couch and my husband looked at me. He's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "No." All I remember is I don't feel boom.
Boom, yeah.
And I just remember him helping me get in the car. Lights flashing. I remember he had taken me to CVS pharmacy first to get my blood pressure checked, and the pharmacist said, "You need to take her to the ER now."
Yeah.
And so he rushed me to the ER, hazards on. They took me right to the back. And so Hospitality ER, Longview, Texas is where it was. And I was there for a few hours. They walked me through the steps of what will happen next to kind of help me. And this was before meditation. This was before yoga, right? So I had to come up with ways to keep me from having anxiety attacks.
Right.
Because at that time I was in education. I was working for a nonprofit called Communities in Schools, but I was on one of the elementaries for Longview District. So I'm dealing with some of the same things as a lot of these teachers. At the same time, still dealing with healing from my biological father, still dealing with how to be the best mom possible. It was a lot. And my husband and I, we were still technically newlyweds. We were only together at that point, married for about 2 years. So once we moved to Tyler and once I started yoga, I realized, I can do this without medication. Now, of course, that's no way to tell others, don't do medication. I grew a fear of medication for mental health. And so I chose to use yoga and meditation as my tool once I realized that was working for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Retreats.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
I've done 2 so far with the Evie Effect.
Okay, awesome.
So Jessica and I are really good friends.
Yeah.
So I've done 2 with her so far. I've done 1 with Grassroots Co-op. They're
I think I have her coming on later.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Grassroots Co-ops.
No, Evie Effect.
Evie Effect, yes. It was a suicide prevention program.
Yes, yeah.
So they help with others that's either lost someone that has dealt with suicide or...
I think I have her coming on early next year.
Early next year? Sweet.
Yeah.
Yes. You'll love Jessica.
You do chair yoga for folks that aren't as mobile?
Aren't as mobile, if they're more comfortable with doing that, if their balance is... Yeah. So it actually doesn't matter the age for chair yoga.
Yeah? Cool. Virtual sessions, obviously, that's...
Google Meets, Zoom, online.
That's awesome. I think a lot of corporate settings would be well served in doing something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Coming into their office and spending 30 minutes just kind of doing those things. It's like, it kind of reminds me back in I think it was like mid 2000s or late 2000s where...
I was 10.
Where, Amazon... Or it was either Amazon or Facebook. It was a big thing for them to, like, all their corporate employees would do like stretching.
Probably
and stuff.
was Amazon because Facebook didn't start until I was in high school.
Yeah, I think it was Amazon.
Okay.
Maybe it was
or MySpace.
2012 or something like that. But that was their big thing, is that they spent the first 15 minutes stretching and doing those types of things. It's just kind of something that is different. But nonetheless, I think it'd be a cool thing to be in a corporate setting.
Yeah.
Is to have yoga as part of it.
I would love to do that.
Let's talk about a couple of events that you have coming up.
Yes.
Like your Facebook page, you were like doing class, which I thought was fun. You were doing a twerk shop. In Longview on Saturday, June 13th. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I already have a good amount of women that are booked and coming. I have some that's never done yoga before coming, and I'm like, I said, trust me, I'll make it as easy as possible, but we gonna have some fun.
Right.
So like I do all sorts of different songs, and I show them like just the basic yoga moves first, and how to implement Mapuka in it.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, I break down what Mapuka is and where it all started and how I found out about it. And then I let them know, I was like, I found out because of a whole nother yoga instructor that was like, if you ever heard of Mapuka, you're already doing it. It's called twerking. And she is sitting there in a yoga pose doing Mapuka, shaking her. And I'm like, I'm doing that.
Yeah, shame on me for not doing the research. But
it's okay.
I'm assuming that the source is African?
Yes.
Okay.
There are multiple different tribes in Africa that is part of their women empowerment.
Yes.
Where the
guys jump.
Yeah, the guys jump and the women are standing up and they're shaking their hips while moving their feet in different ways. And of course, here in America, unfortunately, it turned into twerking and gyrating, where it's notified as disrespectful, but it came from the motherland.
Yeah,
it came
absolutely.
from Mapuka. And so I wanted to embed it all in one.
Yeah.
While still healing.
Right, I love it.
Yes.
You're going to work with the Aurora Dance Center later this year?
Yes, so Aurora Dance Center, we started some classes this past Monday, but unfortunately we haven't had anybody book. They haven't seen a high number of people attending classes because it's summer.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, let's wait till August and see how that goes. I said, okay, cool. So we're going to wait till August. Hopefully by then we'll have more people show up. But as of right now...
Just kind of intermingle dance with yoga?
I'm going to be doing just yoga with them, but I let them know. I was like, hey, I have a background in dance. I said I was
But that's what they do. Like they do dance. They're just trying to get some people signed up for yoga.
And I told them.
Could be parents that are
parents, the students. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I let them know. I was like, part of it will be doing stretch sessions with the students that are already dancing.
Okay.
You know, help them learn how to stretch correctly, if that makes sense. So whenever they go into those movements, they won't accidentally pull anything per se.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then let's see. Today you started Summer Kids.
Yes. With Net Health.
Yoga with Net Health. Right. You've got a couple other. How did that go today?
Oh, it was so much fun.
I know.
I'm used to working with kids, so this was 1st through 5th grade, and even my baby boy, he got a chance to come with us. He's been doing yoga with me since I've started, to be honest.
Yeah.
But all the kids, they did amazing. Of course, I was able to give them certain cues, help them stay on task, and just work with them. And if you see a teacher or like a PE teacher per se, and you see them giving certain cues on how to do certain movements, that's basically what it is. Just doing yoga, and they were all in tune. I only had maybe like 1 or 2 of them that were like doing their own little thing.
Right.
Because they're kids, right?
Yeah.
And so, and of course I wouldn't make it noticeable. I'd be like, thank you so much, everyone. You're doing so amazing. I love your warrior twos. Look at those hands, nice and parallel to the floor. Yeah. Give them a vocab they're going to learn later in the school year. All of those different things. So it was a lot of fun. The best part, it's so funny. I purposely, because it was outside, it was inside of Net Health, they have the garage area because it was a fire station at one point. And so we're in that area with the fans, and of course the kiddos, they're hot. And I was like, guess what? I brought y'all cold cloths. And in the cold cloths I put some lavender and chamomile in those. Yeah. And so what I did is me, and ironically the first yoga instructor that's from Tyler, the one of color, she was there too.
Oh, awesome.
She ended up being there. She's a part of helping them. So she was helping me pass out the time. I was like, it felt nostalgic.
Yeah.
And plus, I've done yoga with Net Health before. They were the first company to contract me to do yoga with them during the summer session 2 years ago when I first started. So it was a lovely experience. I was like, I'm happy to be back, you know, just with kids this time. So we did. We gave all the kids a cold cloth. I had exactly the right amount for each kid. And when I say they were, I was like, if there were some mamas and some daddies waiting on their kids, I was like, all right, y'all see what to do now? Get a cold cloth with lavender and chamomile. I was like, I was like, yeah, do that. That's what's going to help them calm down. Those babies did not want to leave.
That's awesome.
They were enjoying the cold cloth.
And you have a couple more scheduled, right?
Yes, I have 3 more. So I have 4 in total with Net Health, and it's going to be every other Thursday.
Okay, so every other Thursday.
Not next Thursday, but the next Thursday after.
Okay.
And I'll do it every time at 10:30 until 11.
If there are any parents listening, where do they find the information for this?
They can go on Net Health. Net Health's website. They can go on Facebook. They can just send in info saying that they would like their students to be a part of it. If they're 1st through 5th grade, sign them up. Of course, if there's room, because they've actually been filling up their spots pretty fast.
Nice.
But it's free.
Yeah.
So because of course they're sponsored and other people are taking care of it around the area, because that's how Net Health usually works. They get sponsored or they have certain grants and stuff that covers for them to do certain things. And so, it's no charge.
Awesome.
To do that.
3. Camp Gladiator. I'm so excited about it. Yes, you're partnering with them.
I was trying to be quiet about it for so long, but yes, ironically, the director and instructor that I talked to, we went to high school together. Okay. So she graduated a year behind me, and I didn't realize it at first until she said something. I was like, I do remember you. And she was like, I think this is so cool. And she was like, what's your story? What led you to do yoga? Told her the same story. Sure. When I moved, ironically, our stories were a lot alike too. And so, especially the part where we moved to Tyler, because she's from Longview, I'm from Longview, and we both moved to Tyler. And so she said, what got me going is working for Camp Gladiator. She said, so now she's like, I want you to be aware of this, but you are making history. I said, again? I said, wait a minute now, wait a minute, you're gonna make me cry. Because I'm like, I'm already making history with my business. I'm like, now I'm making history again. How? She's like, you're the first yoga instructor we've hired from East Texas.
Oh, that's amazing.
And she said, but you're also the first nationwide.
Yeah.
I said, wait, what? I said, wait, how long has Camp Gladiator been in business? She said, for 17 years. But for those amount of years, they had a virtual yoga instructors, never in person.
Oh, wow.
She said they had the idea when COVID came up to do in person, but then COVID shut everything down. We couldn't do it. And she said for the past 2 years, there has been a Camp Gladiator nationwide yoga instructor position open and nobody took it. So I am the first.
And are you only going to serve East Texas?
I'll only serve East Texas, but hey, if anybody else asks outside, I'll be like, you can pay for my travel plus part of that membership. We good.
Yeah,
good.
Right.
Put me on a plane.
It's such a great nonprofit too.
Yes.
They do a lot of work with our military.
Yes. And
veterans.
and speaking of, I'm certified in PTSD, so I can actually work with people, which I have worked with veterans before. I mean, my husband's a veteran too, so. But I should get started teaching classes not next week, but maybe the week after.
Wow.
We're going to finalize.
Things are really taking off.
When I say the last 2 weeks of May, I'm getting contact after contact and sending in info saying, hey, I'm interested in doing this. I was just like, hold on wait a minute. And I think a lot of it got to do with this. I love being in education. I do. But my husband can see it in my face too, like the last 2-3 months. He was like, you're done, aren't you? I was like, I really am. I said, I really just, at this point, I want to take my business and work with adults and kids.
Yeah.
I was like, there's only one district in East Texas, as I know of, that has yoga with their district. I said, I want to do every single one. I really do. So What did I do? Proposals. Boom, 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 boom. Sent emails out left and right. I'm just waiting. TGC got back with me so far.
We need you to prove it. We need those approvals.
I mean, my phone's over there.
Yeah.
I mean,
we need those approvals.
Hey, we'll see where it goes.
Right.
We'll see where it goes. You know, I know like I may be talking sooner than I should be, but you never know.
No, you got to be optimistic about the future too.
I'm absolutely, like, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm 36 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not getting younger. I am getting older. But at the end of the day, getting older, I still want to be able to be in shape and be healthy, no matter, of course, what size you are in general. I still want to help other people heal through their trauma, especially when now mental health is such a huge thing. You know, we've definitely said, hey, we're going to do everything we can to take care of mental health. I want people to be able to see that they can take care of their mental health using yoga, because to be honest, that was the goal of it to begin with.
Right.
Before the dawn of time, yoga was created to be a tool to help people heal.
And that, to me, like, you know, I had Amanda, we talked about this before we got started. I had Amanda on, who does a lot of nonprofit and charity work, Amanda Veazey in Longview. Yeah. And, you know, she has a lot of people that come in, and I was surprised during our conversation, she talked more about the mental health than she did food, did anything else. Like, a lot of people are traumatized that come into her building
because of mental
because
health.
I mean, there are just a litany of things when you're homeless and when you have a lot of challenges that you deal with.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that have untreated mental health.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people.
Oh yeah. I can count on both hands plus my toes how many people I know. I'm like, you got undiagnosed this and this and that.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
And I know, of course, you still have people that's like, I don't believe in that stuff, and it's like, but why not?
Yeah.
Like, I'll put it like this: the older generation in my family, I know for a fact, unfortunately, a lot of them don't believe in it. But it's like, but you're the generation that dealt with discrimination the most, or at least what I think is the most. You dealt with water fountains, colored water fountains, colored bathrooms. You weren't allowed to vote at a certain time frame. You gonna sit here and tell me you didn't develop mental health issues?
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of movement by government to keep people in their own place too.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So like you just generationally just were kept there.
Yes. And to this day, unfortunately, I still know tons of people that are like that. Me, on the other hand, I was like, no, I've always been one of those very bold individuals that said, I'm not comfortable here no more. I'm ready to move around. Yeah. You know? And so of course it was always something that was very nerve-wracking. Like leaving Longview, to be honest, that was hard. Sure. But I'm happy where this is going, and my biggest goal of all is to take this baby full time. Yeah, it's awesome. And really use it to my best potential. Like, I have a YouTube channel now. My goal is to try to weekly. First, I wanted to do daily, but that's impossible. That's a lot. But to do at least weekly yoga sessions, 10, 15 minutes long, so people that can't have a chance to book with me, okay, subscribe to my channel. Watch me there. Now you got a chance to support me some kind of way or fashion. And not just that, but people outside of East Texas that are like in other countries or somewhere in New York. You never know. Yeah. Like that's the biggest goal of all of us. My goal is to help whomever I am supposed to serve as a safe space to.
Yeah.
Yes.
The podcast is viewed in 6 countries, which I think is wild. It's wild. But
That is wild.
Okay. I told you before we got started with the podcast that I reached out.
Gosh, all I see is black.
Yeah, I know. But, and I got some feedback from some folks that you know. Well, actually one folk that you know.
Okay.
And I asked them to just kind of give me some feedback.
Okay.
And I'm thinking you're going to know as soon as I start reading this. It says, "My dearest Kiara." Kiara, sorry. I was asked to write up a little bit of something, some words from my heart to you. I hope you always know that you're loved and supported. I'm forever proud of you for the work you've chose to do and the love you pour into others. You're a strong, confident, beautiful woman, and it's been an honor to know you and witness your continued growth. You may be the first to accomplish some things, but your students will remember, what your students will remember is that for some, you were the first person to give them permission to cry, or the first person to show them how to breathe in a way that makes them feel safe and calm. For some, you were or will be the first person to give someone permission to contact awareness to their body in a healthy and positive way, or to practice self-care at all. I'm incredibly proud of you that you hold a space for and represent everybody. I'm proud of you for your bravery and courage and for always standing up for what you believe in is right. I'm forever proud. So she just keeps saying, I'm proud of you for leaning into hard work in order to help others find meaningful connection to their bodies, mind, and spirit. People may not remember you for your achievements, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Oh.
That was Miss Tony.
I knew it. That's what I'm saying. Proud. Yep. She was proud. Yep. That sounds weird.
She said, I pray that your path continues to be blessed, and I wish you abundance of success in all you do. Yeah.
I love Tony.
Yeah. At the end of our podcast, we like to, give shout outs. I've been doing this for a couple months, and it makes a big impact to my guests because you guys serve the public so much, and you should know where you stand with people. But we'd like to know what your shout outs are. These are people that could be mentors, which obviously you've already talked about, Tony, but people mention family members and just anybody and everybody that, obviously we could mention everybody, but it's kind of your floor to kind of.
Man. Well, first and foremost, let's be honest. I would not be where I am if it wasn't for the Holy Spirit. Because you know how there's a path that's aligned for you, and unfortunately that path also dragged me. Drag Path is one of my favorite songs now. In order for me to be where I am. One of the reasons I'm so in depth with education is because I was one of those babies that should have been classified as at risk. I was always sick, so I always didn't get the ability to learn the way I needed to. Reading comprehension was not my thing. I was on a 2nd grade reading level in 5th, 6th grade. So being able to graduate high school was a big accomplishment. Me being able to go to college and graduate twice was even bigger, especially with me having a baby my senior year of college, getting my bachelor's and then getting my master's. So of course, moving on and then creating history with my business, and even now with Camp Gladiator, I'm like, I would not be where I am now if it wasn't for the Holy Spirit giving me the ability to be who I needed when I was younger, or giving me the ability to be a safe space. Even in the midst of everything going on now, I still choose to be kind. I still choose to be happy. I still choose to find purpose. Because I'm not going to let all this negativity pull me away from that.
Yeah.
My next biggest one is, I'm not trying to cry again. Man, my husband has really he really has, he's one of the biggest reasons I'm here, too.
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him telling me go do yoga, I wouldn't be where I am with doing yoga.
Right.
Because remember, I told you I did yoga once before. It was in college, and I hated it. I was like, heck no, I ain't doing this again. But he was the reason I said, no, you should keep doing it. And he did it with me. He did it with me a few times. For him, it wasn't always something he wanted to do per se, but he did it because I wanted to.
Yeah.
He saw it was working for me. He sees now it's working for me and other people. And even now, I'm still healing through some other issues that unfortunately, I had to unravel and realize like certain things are hurting me still and certain things are bothering me. And I'm still doing the work.
Yeah.
I'm helping others heal while I'm helping myself heal too. Because to be honest, seeing others look and feel healed, it's helping me.
Sure.
It really is. It's helping me. So it's an honor to be married to someone that's like, go do your thing, girl.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, boo. You know, like
right.
someone that's, you know, and I don't know if it's because I do the same for him because he has his own business.
Sure.
And it didn't really pop off until he was right at 2 years as well.
Well, I think the fact that you faced the reality that you needed counseling. That was a big part, and a lot of couples don't do that. They just kind of pass each other and don't say anything. And the thing is, it's like that time you learn a lot of skills.
Yeah.
That help with like talking and not letting it fester and trust.
Yeah.
So,
a big one. And I mean, my husband, that's my best friend.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like he can look at me and tell if something's bothering, no matter how, because I don't like to always tell him everything that's bothering me, but he'll be like, what's wrong? And I'll be like, you know what? And he knows me. Once I start talking, it's going to fly.
I know you already.
Yes. My other one, and my aunt Shorty, which was Miss Lorraine.
Yeah.
She's been a part of my life my whole life.
Sure.
She knows exactly every and anything I've ever dealt with. Pretty much. And she's never passed judgment. She's always said, you know, your auntie is proud of you. I'm always will be here. And she always has. She's even clocked out of work before to talk to me. I have so many people. The first 5 years of my marriage, me and my mother-in-law did not get along.
Yeah.
I think she looked at me as though I was taking her son from her, you know, until she finally learned, no, this baby wants to be my baby too. And now I am my mother-in-law's baby too.
That's cool.
I am my mother-in-law's baby. Like,
yeah,
that is my woman. My big brother, he's the reason I graduated college to begin with, because when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter my senior year, he was like, you're not dropping out.
Yeah, yeah. And
then I did. And then he's like, you gonna do it again? Yeah, I did it again. He was the first one that knew I was pregnant. So, I could say so much about each one of these people, but they're part of that journey that got me where I am.
You could just say everybody.
Really and truly, I really could. My closest cousin.
Yeah.
My closest cousin, Stephanie. Me and her been through a lot together. But like, if there's anybody besides my husband that's been there for me, it's been her too. You know, so she's been there a lot for me. My core, our best friend group, like, I know like nowadays it's hard to find best friends as an adult, but I have my best friends, and we've been best friends for like our whole group, almost 10 years now.
Wow,
you know?
That's pretty rare,
yes.
Very rare.
And you know, sometimes they say, don't ever be friends with people you used to work with. No, these other two ladies, I used to work with them, and they're my best friends.
Yeah.
So, and of course my cousin, we did everything together. We went to college together, we went to each other's weddings. We were around each other when our babies were born. We of course, we bumped heads.
Yep.
We've been each other's shoulder to lean on multiple times, and I honor her for that. Man, I would say,
awesome.
Unfortunately, right now, I am not really communicating with my parents that raised me now. So that is part of my healing journey.
Man, it could change. It could change.
I hope.
I hope so too.
I think a lot of it is being the mentality of me being a bold, more free spirit, and they're still not realizing that part and some boundaries that. I
think there are ebbs and flows with parents because you're independent and they're used to having you as a kid.
Whether I'm married or not, I'm still. Like sometimes my husband will be like, "You're married, remember?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I'm just."
Yeah.
But I still have to thank them too, because if it wasn't for me going through some of the things I saw and experienced with them, even now, I still wouldn't be able to.
Just tell them whenever we're done.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them that skip to the bin and where I thank you.
And I'm like, hey, by the way, I love y'all. Thank you. You're part of the reason this business keeps building, too.
Well, it was so awesome to have you on. It was awesome to have you on.
Thanks so much.
Look forward to seeing your success. I'll keep up with it on Facebook and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
I think you're going to do well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I look forward to continually growing and working with anyone that's willing to work with me.
All right.
Yes.
Trap Yoga and Wellness is on the map. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.